Hey everyone, so we have a really cool project here. This has been a customer's truck that we've been working on for the last couple weeks off and on. It's going to be what we call a working man 7.3 build. Nothing super complicated on here. Reliability was the main concern, and we're going to go ahead and dive into it. So first off, we have the CNC Fab intercooler boots on this. On the right side, we have a Donaldson filter with the riffraff adapter to it. Nothing fancy, it works. Probably the most complicated part of this entire truck build is the Irate Diesel fuel system. Now this is a complete Irate Diesel fuel system, and we've got the Fuel Lab regulator on there. You can see really high quality piping kit. I really like this. It's thick, it's tough, and it really is a super clean install. It makes it really easy to get to your IPR and even your HPOP if you ever need to change it out. The truck already had a 4-inch downpipe on it, but we went ahead and rebuilt the turbo with a KC rebuild with a 360 thrust bearing and their billet wheel. On the downside, if you can tuck in there, of course, we went ahead and did the pedestal delete on it. And we have the riffraff boost filler because this is a manual truck, and just in case we're getting over 22 or 23 PSI, this will limit it. I've had really good luck with these in the past. They've been really good quality. For tuning, we went with Diesel at Chattanooga, just a PCM flash. It was about $110, or about, I think with shipping and everything, it was $150 after tax, shipping, all that good stuff. And that was for like a 35, 40 horsepower tune. Pretty mild, but it definitely wakes the truck up quite a bit, and it gets the job done. And what I like about it, there's no ribbon cables, there's no selectable tunes on it. Once again, it's just something that works and it doesn't break the bank. Gotta put the fender liner back in, but just so you can see, way up in there, those are diesel side up pipes. Really happy with them. They fit super well. And yes, you can see the manifolds are not in the best condition, but they still sealed up and they still work. Going around the truck now, we'll head up to the back, and we have, once again, the complete system. So we have a sump there, and that was the Beans diesel. For the customer, he wanted to be able to drain the entire fuel system in case he got contaminated fuel somewhere. So you can also go with the pickup style tube if you wish, but Beans makes a great sump and it works. We've got all the lines tucked up way up under the frame. And back here, we have the Irate Diesel Bosch style lift pump, as well as the Baldwin filters that come with it. This is a really impressive piece. Been super happy with it. The quality is good, and once again, it's just a reliable, clean setup. Very easy to change. You can run wick style filters if you want. I'm sure there's others that are available. I'm sure somebody's going to comment about the placement, but guys, it doesn't do it justice. But these filters sit up way higher than the transfer case and also the skid plate. You would have to hit something pretty darn hard. And this is a work truck. Once again, he does use it for field work, but he's not going off-roading with it. And for it to get damaged, or either of those filters to get damaged, I think you would have to be doing something pretty wild to make that happen. But overall, really clean install. We've got to finish up a couple odds and ends with it, mainly pertaining to the wiring. There's just a couple things I didn't really like. We kind of took it out for a test drive, so we rigged this up just for the time being. But it works, you know, this is going to get fixed. I just don't like it. But overall, the entire truck build really was about 4, maybe 5 solid work days. A lot of that was because it was pretty rusty, especially on the manifolds, trying to save things. We also have the riffraff diesel crossover tube back there, if you see it, for the high pressure oil pump. New IPR, new IPC, all that good stuff. We pulled the harness out, fixed a couple things on the harness. We also, if you noticed, we got rid of the intake air temp, or intake air heater, the IAH. This is obviously the plug for it, but we went into the harness and got rid of everything related to it. And then we cut down the factory bracket just to make it a little cleaner. There's no point of having it there. The only thing I think I would have changed about this whole build is we would have went to a white Rogers style glow plug relay and relocate it over here to the fender wall, which is something we'll probably do to my truck. But overall, really happy with this build. The truck runs great. We're only running about 60 psi fuel pressure. We're probably gonna turn that up to 65 on the regulator. But other than tying up a couple wiring loose ends and putting that fender back in, it's pretty much done. And it really has been a setup that has impressed me. This is stock AD code injectors, 170,000 miles on the truck. Once again, stock size tires, 410 gears. It is a limited slip rear end and the ZF6 transmission. So that combination always works well. And I mean, this is pretty much what you get for a simple and reliable setup. You don't have to always go to aftermarket injectors and a stage 1 turbo to have a 7.3 that can, you know, keep up with at least a stock or maybe even a mildly tuned 6.0. You really don't. You're not going to get, of course, the response that you are from a VGT turbo, but this stock turbo with the wicket wheel, and I'm sure it would do even better with a balance assembly, does pretty decent. It really starts coming on around 1600 RPMs, probably closer at 1600. And if you keep it above 1800 RPMs, it pulls really well. You don't have to overly complicate these trucks. When you start getting into bigger aftermarket turbos like stage 2s, when you start getting into bigger injectors like, I don't know, 205 60s or 205 30s or even 180 30s, you're adding a lot of extra tuning hazards to overcome with your trucks. This is probably very close to a 300 horsepower truck. It's probably maybe, I'm guessing maybe somewhere between 300 and 315, 325 at the crank. So probably about 250-ish, 260-ish at the wheels. It does really well, I'm telling you. It works. And for the customer, it should be very reliable. It's a very budget-oriented, easy setup. Most anybody can do this if they have the time to. They can do all these mods. Irate Diesel Fuel system is not for the faint of heart. You need to research it and really know what you're doing and take your time, especially with the fittings where the fuel lines and the return lines go into the cylinder heads. Besides that, that's probably the most difficult part. If you're not confident rebuilding the turbo yourself, go with a stock plus from like KC. It's basically the stock GTP 38, but it has their balance assembly in it, which is going to be their S300 style turbine wheel and their billet compressor wheel balanced together with the 360 thrust bearing. Basically, the best stock bang for buck turbo you can. I think it's like $1,000 or right at, maybe it's $1,095 or something like that. If you're not confident in rebuilding your turbo yourself, that would be my recommendation. You could also go with something like a Irate Diesel regulated return. They're quite a bit cheaper than something like this Fuel Lab or Irate Diesel setup. That would be another option. Obviously, one of the big benefits of this setup is it gets rid of your factory fuel bowl location, and that to me is huge. It just opens up so much more in case you ever do have to do any sort of maintenance. It even makes replacing your high pressure oil lines much simpler. So now, just so you guys know, we are going to clean this up. We'll tuck all this in. Like I said, we just got the truck back on the road a few hours ago. I was taking it for a drive, data logging it, and just making sure everything was right, checking EGTs and all that good stuff. So anyway, guys, I hope you find this helpful. If there's anything I missed or you have any questions, please let me know. Once again, please be kind to your neighbors. I know it's kind of a crazy year. We're getting close to the end. Holidays are coming. Just try to be patient with everybody in the holiday rush. Once again, if you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer it. Be safe all the way.